here camping out in the wilderness on the Tibetan Plateau in Qinghai province. We're about 4,200 meters, so roughly around 14,000 feet, so we're high altitude camping. I'm going to teach you today what to pack for a weekend backpacking trip. So we're talking about 2 nights, 3 days, and I'm going to show you exactly everything that's in my backpack. So I'm going to start in the top of the backpack. I call this the brain because it's like the head of the backpack. A lot of backpacks have this foldable lip. Sometimes you can even remove them if you want to remove some weight. I personally really like this because you want to put items in here that you want to have very quick access to. And so I'm going to show you what I put in my brain here. Okay, first thing, I have gloves. If you get caught in a snowstorm or rain comes up, you want to have your gloves very easily accessible. Okay, second thing is a water filter. If you need to stop and purify water, you can use this water filter. This is called a Sawyer squeezable water filter, and what you do, you actually put the dirty water in here. So I go on this icy river behind us, we'd fill this with water, and then you attach this, just screw that on there. Okay, you can see the Sawyer brand, and then you have your dirty water, and you actually pour that right into your clean water bottle. Okay, make sure your water bottle that you're drinking from only touches clean water, and in this way you can actually push this through, and this black part is a filter. So very important to have water filtration. Here we're very high, there's very few human elements around us, but we're still going to filter our water because there might be some yaks or sheep in the river. So very important to have a water filter like this. What else is in my brain? Okay, I have a headlamp. You want that quickly accessible. So this is a Petzl brand. Petzl is a nice brand of headlamp. They also make some smaller ones if you want a little bit lighter, but this has a couple modes. It has bright, half as bright, and then it also has a blinking mode. So that's my headlamp. Of course we can't see it right now because it's light out. Okay, another thing, I carry a knife. I like to carry a knife because I usually cut meat or pepperoni or cheese with this. It's also good if you somehow get in trouble and you need this for survival. So knife is always good. It doesn't have to be this big. You can carry something more like a Swiss Army knife if you want. But I like just carrying that nice knife like that, nice quality. And always keep it in a sheath so it doesn't cut your backpack. Okay, that's the top of my brain there. Zip that. I also have an underside of my brain. Okay, sunscreen lotion, you're gonna need that. The altitude with the sun here, it's super bright. So make sure you carry suntan lotion. That's very important. And a lot of suntan lotion in China can be fake, so if you're gonna buy it in China, if you're traveling in Asia, make sure you get something real, a real brand. Okay, I have a little buff here. This is great. You can use this for many different ways. You can put it use it as a neck gaiter, you can use it as a hat, keep the sun off your head or your neck. It can also be good if you want to put it over your mouth. It helps you not breathing so much cold air or dust. Okay. Also, ibuprofen. So that's good. Yeah, always good to carry a little ibuprofen. I had a little high altitude headache yesterday, and that was great for my headache. Okay. I have toilet paper. You're going to want to carry toilet paper, and make sure when you use this outside, when you use number 1 or number 2 outside, that you're carrying out your toilet paper. Do not leave your toilet paper out in the wilderness because no one wants to come up on your toilet paper if they come there late. Okay, what else do I have? I have my passport here. This one's expired, and I also have my newer passport as well. Just in case we get in any trouble. I don't think I'd ever need it, but it's always good to travel with that, especially when you're traveling in a foreign country. Have a battery charger for my phone. There's also solar battery chargers that are quite good. You can put them on the outside of your backpack, and they will absorb the sun and charge your battery with that. I also have, in case I get a blister, which I did yesterday, this is it's called a second skin. You open this up and you put that little second skin on your blister, and it helps reduce the friction on your blister. So good to have that in your little first aid kit there. Also have a toothbrush, and a camp spoon, another spork if I need it, okay? In this case, you'll notice I did not bring any deodorant, any shampoo, anything like that. You're probably not going to need that in the wilderness. So anything that you can cut out of your backpack, cut that weight out, because you're going to be carrying it and you're going to be happy that you didn't carry all that extra stuff. So first thing, I'm going to show you what's in my backpack here. Okay, so I'm opening my backpack. This backpack is a Gregory backpack. You're going to want something that's 50 to about 70 liters. Anything smaller than that, and you're probably not going to be able to carry your tent and all the stuff you need. Anything that's bigger than that, it's going to be too much. If you have a backpack that's too big, you're probably going to fill it, and you're already going to be carrying too much weight. This backpack, as it is, weighs about 25 kilos. Roughly around 50 pounds. That's a little bit on the heavy side. I'd like to get it down to maybe 35 or 40 pounds, but because we're at such high altitude and still wintry conditions here, we have a few extra things. So a few of these things you can pare down if you're hiking in spring or summer, but I'm just giving you a good example of what to pack in case you do encounter some cold. Okay? So first thing we got here, this is our camp fuel, okay? This is an isobutane fuel. You can buy this at any camp or outdoor store. And you can carry this. Make sure you put the top on. That's going to keep it nice and clean, and I'm going to show you how to connect that in just a minute. Okay, so we got our camp fuel. After that, we have, this is my camp pot. This is an MSR brand, or Mountain Safety Research. This is a great brand for water filters, anything camp stove, camp kitchen. Very reliable. A little bit expensive, but I've had this pot for almost 15 years. You can see the bag's well worn, and I've used this for over 5,000 miles of backpacking. I've backpacked both the Appalachian Trail and Pacific Crest Trail using this one stove, and it's been great for me. It's held up super, super great. So spend a little extra money and you'll have things for a long time. Inside of my pot, I don't want wasted space in my backpack. So inside my pot, I'll show you what's in here. First of all, I have an MSR. It's called a pocket rocket. This is a very tiny little stove. It's great for ultralight backpacking. You don't need something big. And what you do is you take these arms, you fold them out, okay, just like that. If you fold drone arms, it's a little bit like the arms of a drone. And then you actually attach this here you screw this on and make sure your threads are lined up. Screw that on. Okay, this is your fuel, this is your fire. You're going to turn this on and light it, and then you're going to be able to boil water probably 10 to 20 minutes. This will boil roughly about a 2-liter pot of water. So make sure if you're at altitude, you give it a little bit more time because water boils a little faster at altitude, at a lower temperature. So this is my fuel. My cook stove, you can see I have an extra cook stove, very similar, just like it. This is a Chinese model that's a little bit cheaper. Just in case this one conks out, I have an extra one. I have a spoon and a fork. You can also use a spork for eating. Carry a lighter, and I always carry an extra couple lighters. This is a Chinese lighter with Apple brand, and so of course they're not super reliable. Even now this one's not lighting, so make sure you carry a couple extra lighters just in case. I have a little sponge here. This will help me clean my pot after I'm done eating. And this is also a nice pot cleaner. If you want to wipe it dry, you can. It's a little chamois towel, and this helps me pick up my pot if it's boiling. That way I don't have to touch the hot pot. It's a perfect gripper. It's a pot gripper. It actually comes with the MSR pot. So these are all the things I have in here, and an extra lighter. Okay. In this case, I'm actually carrying 2, just in case I need to boil water in one and boil to cook food in the other. So that's my camp cooking system. Okay, we finished our breakfast here, and we cleaned out our bowl with a little river water. And usually, rather than dumping the food back into the river, I like to put the water into the bowl and then drink it. It gives you a little extra water, but just make sure your water's clean. Don't use the river water that's unclean. And then actually, to clean the rest of your bowl, you can take a napkin and then make sure you pack out that napkin and wipe it. Or what I like to do is just lick it. That gives you a nice clean bowl. And it gives you a little extra calories. So, yeah, that's what we do. We lick our bowl so that next time we use it, it's nice and clean. I'm going to talk about food now for a little bit. So obviously you're in the wilderness, there's no restaurants around, you're going to need to carry your own food. This is my food bag. I've chosen this bag because it also doubles as a day pack. If I want to create a base camp here and then hike up these mountains, I can use this as a day pack, take all my food out of it, and that way I don't have to carry my big backpack, which is nice. So you may also want to consider carrying a little light day pack like this, just in case you want to go on a day adventure. Okay, so I brought a Tupperware. Last night this was full of chili. I pre-cooked the chili, and then all we had to do is drop it in our pot, boil a little bit, get it hot, and it was ready in about 10 minutes. So this was great. I pre-made my food, and so that's an idea for you. If you want to make your food at home, cook it at home, and so it's already cooked, then it's just easier when you're already out here. Okay, this is my lunch. This is a pepperoni or salami. I usually carry a full stick of these. These things preserve really well. 4 to 5 days I could carry this, and every day I use my knife to cut out a couple slices, and I put it with some cheese and crackers, and that is a great high-calorie lunch. Okay, we got some carrots here. It's always good to have a little veggies just to increase the amount of nutrients you get, because a lot of backpacking meals don't have a lot of veggies in them. And you can either cut those up and put them in your dinner or just eat them raw. Okay, this is all bread that I have. I bought this local bread. Some of it is bingza. Okay, some of this is local bread, bought right here in Xining, China. Really nice bread. You can put peanut butter and jelly on this. You can dip in your chili, dip in your soup. It's very nice. Okay, I put my bowl. Here's my camp bowl. Make sure you have a little lightweight plastic bowl. And you can also use, this can also double as a mug. I don't carry a mug, but some people choose to carry a mug and a bowl as well. Okay, here are my crackers. I should have those in a Ziploc bag, but I don't right now. But I got some crackers. That's going to be for my crackers and cheese and pepperoni. Makes for a very nice camp lunch. Okay, there's my cheese. Just pre-sliced cheese. You could also buy a block of cheese and slice it yourself. I have a bag of milk. This milk will preserve for a few days. I can use this with my granola or with my breakfast or my coffee if I want to. And here's the most important part of all. Snickers and M&Ms. So this is a great little high quality snack, and I've actually carried about 10 of these for a 3-day backpacking trip. You can carry more or less as you decide, but I usually eat about one of these every hour because you're burning so many calories in the mountains. You're going to need to replace your calories. This is cheap energy, and it's really quick and easy to pop one of these. And then I also have my granola. This is just, you can carry oatmeal or granola. This is basically baked oatmeal with some chocolate chips inside. Very high calorie, good for backpacking, and a good pick-me-up in the morning. So I can combine this with the milk in the morning, or I can boil water and add this into the boiled water. Okay, so that's all my food for a 3-day backpacking trip. So it gives you an idea of what I'm going to carry and how much it's going to weigh for this weekend out. Okay, on to sleeping. So I generally put the things that I'm going to use latest in the day at the bottom. So you want heavy things and things you're not going to need immediately right at the bottom. So that would be sleeping bag, tent, probably your stove, maybe even some of your dinner food. You want a lot of the bulk of your weight down here at the bottom of your pack, and you want the lighter top to be a bit lighter, because otherwise it's going to be top heavy. It's going to maybe push you over, which is going to be important for your balance as you're walking down the mountain. This is my sleeping bag. It's called a Big Agnes. This is a down sleeping bag. It's pretty expensive. This sleeping bag is worth about $300 US. So, but I've been so happy with this. I've had this about 10 years, and you can see it's a nice down material. This is rated to about -6 Celsius or about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so this is pretty nice. This has kept me really warm. This particular model actually has no stuffing on the bottom. The whole bottom is just a sheer layer. And the reason that is because it comes with a special pad that fits into the bottom, so it actually matches the pad so you don't fall off of your pad. I actually don't have that pad right now because that pad popped, but I'll show you a different pad that I'm also using as well. So this is great, keeps me super warm. I prefer down because the down is really lightweight, super compressible. You know, you can get this down to the size of a soccer ball, whereas other similar bags would be a little bit bigger for synthetic material. So you're going to spend a little bit more money on down, but I like the down, and it's been, if you treat it well, protect it well, it'll be good. One thing about down is it can't really get wet, and so if it gets wet, it loses its insulating properties. So just make sure you keep that in mind with your sleeping bag. Okay, I also have my sleeping bag. This one's a little bit big. I prefer one that's about 1/3 of this size, but this is what I have for now. This is a self-inflating pad from REI. You can get these. They also have foam pads that just fold that aren't inflating. This has a little bit of insulation in it, and when you open it up, this little valve here, this is going to actually, when you pull it out, it's just going to start inflating itself. So I don't even need to blow it. I just give it about 10-15 minutes, and the whole thing's going to inflate itself. So that's my sleeping pad. Obviously that's a little bit big, so I'm going to attach it right here to the bottom of my pack, just on these straps here. Okay, so that's my sleeping system, and now I'm going to show you what I wear for clothes. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing for clothes for hiking. So you don't need a lot of clothes, but what you need needs to be really high quality. So on the outside I have this nice Patagonia puffy jacket. Once again, just like a sleeping bag, this should be down because it's really compressible. Okay, it'll press down really small in my backpack and has a very high warmth to weight ratio. Okay, so that's my outside puffy. And notice I'm doing layers. I don't have any super thick layers, but I have a lot of them. Okay, then I have a nice fleece. Okay, this would give you some mild rain protection. If it was very light rain or mist, it keep you from that. Fleece is nice. Okay, so this is an Arcteryx Fleece, very nice. Okay, and then my bottom, final layer here. This is a wicking fiber. Make sure it's not cotton. You don't want cotton right next to your skin, otherwise it's going to get wet. It's going to keep you very cold. So this is a wicking fiber. I personally like this one because it has a little hood. I can put that on if the wind comes up. So this is nice. This is a Lululemon piece, a little bit expensive, but I've worn this for about 5 years, and the quality is maintained. Okay, so that's what I do for tops. You might also consider carrying a long underwear top as well for sleeping at night. Okay, for my pants I have these Haglofs soft shell. These are about $100 pants. They're expensive, but they're very high quality, and they keep rain off in light rain or light mist. They're not a fully waterproof pant, but they're really, really good for sliding down snow or trekking through mud or light rain. You can see they've held up really well through the mud here. As far as boots, I got a vast pair of boots here. I actually usually prefer wearing trail running shoes because they're a little lighter, but because of the terrain here, it's really wet, really rocky. We're on some pretty high mountain peaks. I actually wore boots for extra ankle support and more waterproofness. For my socks, I have a pair of Darn Tough. These are Merino wool socks. I highly recommend Merino wool because that's going to keep the moisture off your feet and keep your feet free of blisters as well. Okay, I'm going to show you what I got for clothes in here. So that's what I'm wearing right now. And honestly, you probably should be wearing 70 to 80% of your clothes. You should have a few extra clothes for sleeping. I have a nice sun hat because the sun's really bright out here. I have an extra shirt, extra bottom layer in case this layer gets wet. Okay, in this case, you don't always have to bring these, but I have these things called gaiters. Okay, these are Outdoor Resource, very nice brand. You attach them to your shoes, and they basically create a type of high boot so that water does not go inside of your shoes. Very nice if you're traveling through snow or very wet, swampy conditions. Okay, I do have a pair of rain pants. These are fully rainproof, 100% waterproof. So I would put these on if I got caught in a snowstorm or rainstorm. Probably not going to need them today because it's quite sunny, but it's always good to have that just in case. Okay, these are my sleeping pants. Okay, so these are just nice cozy pants that I can sleep in, keep me warm. Make sure you always keep one outfit for sleeping. So keep a dry pair of socks, dry pair of sleeping pants, and a dry underlayer to sleep in. That way you always have a nice pair of warm clothes to sleep in. Okay, and then I want to show you my rain jacket here. I actually keep my rain jacket very accessible. You can see this pocket is right on the outside here. I recommend keeping your rain jacket quite accessible. So I could just open this pocket real quick and just pull this out as soon as a rainstorm came up. This is also a waterproof soft shell. The North Face, very nice. So that's what I use for a rain jacket. And then you can also see I recommend carrying about a total 3 pairs of socks. One that you're wearing, one for sleeping, and an extra one in case your feet get wet. You don't need 5 or 6 socks. This is probably enough for you. Okay? And then make sure you carry some nice wicking underwear. This is going to keep you nice and dry. I would recommend not wearing cotton underwear. You want something like a merino fiber or something like that. Okay? So that is all I have for clothes for 3 days. You can see it's not that much, but the quality is high and it's going to keep me nice and warm and dry. Okay, last but not least, you're going to need to be drinking water. When you're hiking, I recommend at least drinking 3 liters, 3 bottles of these every day. I know that seems like a lot of weight to carry, but you're going to need it. If you're hiking 10 to 15 kilometers per day, especially in the sun and weather, your body's losing a lot of moisture under that sun. So I actually have 2 of these 1 liter bottles, and then I also have 2 half-liter bottles, okay? And then we're camping by a river right here, so we're going to be able to filter water or boil water, and I'm going to be able to add to these soon. So, but I recommend drinking at least this much water per day. Okay, so very important to have good water bottles, and make sure only clean water goes in here. Do not put dirty water in here because it's very possible to get giardia when you get water directly from a stream. Okay, and my last thing here is my trekking poles. This is a Lucky trekking poles. They make some very nice ones. These happen to be foldable. You can also get ones that don't fold but just collapse. Okay, so I'm going to pull these poles out here. So this trekking pole is going to be very nice for me when I'm going downhill. Okay, and I'm going to actually put them together like that, and then pull that in. I'm going to clip that locked, and then I have a nice sturdy trekking pole. Okay, when you're using a trekking pole, you want your arm to be roughly at a 90-degree angle here. So it should be roughly right at your belly button height at the top. Okay, you can put your hand through the pole, and then you can use those as a way when you're going down mountains. It's going to give you a little bit more steadiness, and when you're crossing rivers, it's also going to be helpful for that. It's also going to take some weight off your knees. So I have these nice ultralight Lucky trekking poles. I really like them. These are expensive, $100 to $150, but they'll hold up really well, and it's all super light carbon fiber. Okay, this is the Marmot Tungsten 4-person tent. This is a great car camping tent. We're actually using it for a backpacking tent. Normally you probably want to carry something a little bit lighter than this, but I'm going to show you this and then show you another model that's a 2-person ultralight tent, so you can get a different idea of which tent you want to carry. If you have 3 to 4 people, this might be a good tent for you. Okay, so first thing, you have the rain fly here. This rain fly is excellent. It's going to keep all rain and snow off. I've never had a problem with rain entering the tent. It's very dry, very warm inside. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the tent. Okay, you can see this has a very nice zipper. It has an indoor zipper, and it also has a zipper for the rain fly. So if you had 4 total people, you'd probably fill up the whole tent with 4 bodies here. You can see there's only 2 sleeping bags here, so it's very spacious for 2 people. Each person could put their backpack next to them if they needed to. If you had 4 people in here, you could put your backpacks in this vestibule out here, and it would keep your shoes, your backpacks, anything you want to leave outside the tent so the tent doesn't get muddy. It'd keep it nice and dry and warm. Okay, here we are inside the tent. You can see we have our sleeping bags, we have our sleeping pads, and this tent has some nice features because it has some pockets to hold your cell phone, your headlamp, your toilet paper, anything you need. So this is a nice spacious tent. You can see I can easily kneel and put my clothes on and off if I need to. So it's a good spacious tent, very high, and it even has a nice feature here where it pulls out the sides a little bit so you get a few extra inches of room on each corner. So I really like this tent. It's a little more weight than some ultralight backpacking tents, but super cozy, and I appreciate carrying the extra weight to be so warm last night. Okay, this is a 2-person ultralight backpacking tent. So the tent we just showed you, the Marmot tent, was a 4-person. This is something that's 2-person, a lot lighter. So this is going to be half as light. Total weight of this tent is about 4 pounds, and it has a really super light but very rainproof rain fly. I've literally slept in this tent for over 10 years. I use this to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. I hiked 2,650 miles in this tent, slept in it every night for 6 months, 180 days straight, never had a problem, and it's still going strong after 10 years. So I'm very, very happy with this tent. This is probably a $300 to $400 US tent, so it is expensive, but the more you pay, usually the lighter and more high quality you're gonna get. So invest a lot in your tent, and it'll last you a long time, just like all the other gear we talked about. So this is called the Big Agnes Copper Spur. Big Agnes makes a lot of great tents. Marmot also makes some nice tents, and as does MSR, or Mountain Safety Research. You can see they've included these nice stakes here. They're a very small stake, but they're very, very tough. Okay, so this stake is very good. It's an ultralight camping stake, and it's very difficult to bend this stake. When you put your stakes in, make sure you put them in at an angle. You pull your tent fabric taut, you push it in, and if it won't go on the ground, then use a little rock like a hammer to push it in. Very important not to bend these stakes, and also when you put them away, make sure you keep them clean and keep all the dirt off. That'll help them last a long time. So we love this Big Agnes tent. It's a great ultralight 2-person tent. If you're looking for a good tent, look for something like this. Awesome. This is Ben Cubbage from Elevated Trips at elevatedtrips.com, and this is what to pack in your backpack for a 3-day backpacking trip. Subscribe to our channel and follow us for more adventures in Western China and Tibet.